Case back with another episode of Everyday Sneakerheads. First off, we want to thank you all for tuning in to our third episode. Today we're going to be featuring a friend of mine, Brock. He's the owner of Soul Revival here in Springdale, Ohio. Also has another store in Kentucky.
Florence, Kentucky.
Today we're going to get into his business, different things he's thinking about that's going on in the market, different shoes that he's rocking with, and other things. So Brock, go ahead today, man. Let us know what you got on feet.
I'm wearing the new release of the Bread 4s right now. I've been waiting for this one to come back out from Nike Air for sure. It's definitely one of my favorite models.
How many times you say you wore them? Because I remember one time I talked to you, you wanted to make sure they wasn't cracking and checking on those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I probably had them for about 2 weeks. I probably wore this thing about 10 times. So
yeah.
I've been wearing them almost every day.
Today I got on feet the military blues. The military blues that came out 2012.
Yep.
Decided to pull these Lucky 4s out. My favorite model. This is our third time doing our show. 4s every time, my lucky shoe. So man, tell me today, what was your passion? What's your beginning in this game? Tell me about your sneaker past.
So I'd say I probably got into shoes early on in the junior high. I just remember I was picking out a new pair of shoes for the basketball season, and I was just going online trying to look up, what was like the cool shoes to come out with, and that was when I discovered like the Jordan retros, and I don't know what it was, but right off the bat I was just like infatuated with them, and throughout junior high I was just studying shoes instead of doing my homework basically.
Right.
But that's where it all started at.
What was that first retro? You know which one?
First retro? Yeah. First shoe I actually bought, it was the low top Jordan 2 from 2004. I wasn't like in love with them, but I saw a pair on eBay for like $20. They were like super beat up, but I only had about $30 to spend, so I bought those. And then I was watching back in the day. I used to watch like the YouTube restoration videos, of retro sneakers and all that. And I always wanted to get into trying to restore shoes and everything. So I ordered some Angelos paint, and then when the 2s came in from eBay, I restored them and started wearing them to school.
Yeah, Angelos. They following us on our Instagram page as well. I like that. I dig with that. Tell me, Brock, at what point were you comfortable with yourself to be able to open a store where you were able to authenticate a lot of these sneakers coming out with so many brands?
Right. So I don't know. As far as like the Jordan retros, I've always had a real easy time authenticating these, just because I'm so knowledgeable on them that anytime I have a fake pair in my hand, like I just kind of get that itchy feeling. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can just kind of tell. But I don't know. There's some pretty obvious things to look at. On some of the newer pairs, like such as some of the Yeezys and stuff, the fakes are really good on these. They can be super tough to catch. With the authentication, it can be real tough nowadays, because as soon as we're finding out the telltale signs to identify a real from a fake, the fake companies are, they're finding ways to, just patch the new flaws that we discovered on the fakes. So they're up working, 24 hours a day trying to, mimic these shoes and make them look perfect. It can be tough. Really, what we do is when a new shoe comes out, we just make sure to look for the telltale signs. A lot of times, if it's a shoe that we know that the fakes are up to par and really good on, we'll try to only purchase that shoe if it's got a receipt to the store it was purchased from, or it was purchased from a store in Cincinnati even, because a lot of times now they'll even make fake receipts for the shoe.
Really? They got the receipts. I've seen them with the StockX tags and everything all over the shoe.
That's why you really can't go by that. You just got to go by looking at the shoe, and 9 times out of 10, if they have a receipt, and let's say it's a local store like City Gear, Bond Hill, the fake companies aren't going to make a fake receipt for City Gear and Bond Hill. You know what I mean?
Right. What's the giveaways on the Jordan 1?
I
know it's a lot of fake Jordan 1s out there. What's the dead giveaway for?
There's a few things I like to look at. A lot of the fakes, one thing they can't get right is if you look at the Wings logo up here, on the Air Jordan right here, right where the R and the D are in Jordan, right at the bottom of that R, it should always be very slightly touching the D. Even if it looks like it's very minuscule, there should never be a gap right there. If there's a gap, usually
he gave away a jewel out there. He gave away a jewel. I heard a lot of people go over these shoes before like that, but never something so close as that. They normally talk about that line that comes down on the check.
And I will say, some of the fakes will get that right, so you can't just use that. Right. It sounds dumb, but one of the biggest telltale signs for the ones is going to be that smell, because if you've ever opened up a brand new pair of retro fakes in the box, it's got a very significant smell. And if you've ever smelled a pair of fakes before, they're going to have a real pungent smell too, but it's going to smell a little bit, more gluey. It's not going to smell good. It's just really strong and pungent. It smells like straight up bottled with glue.
So with this being a buy, sell, and trade store, how do you set your market as far as what you taking in, how much you gonna get for it, get in, get for it.
Right. So basically, we try to take a pretty wide variety of shoes and models and brands. Really, just anything that is somewhat collectible, we like taking because some people will say Jordans are out of style right now or Yeezys are out of style right now, but we really found that there's a market for every shoe. So it really just depends. Like you can see over here, we got a bunch of Nike SBs. Some people would say Nike SBs are dead right now, but we personally have a lot of Nike SB collectors that love stuff like that. So we really try to have a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah, is this one the Heineken?
That one's a California.
The California.
They look pretty similar.
The Heineken is a low cut, isn't it? I mixed that one up. That's what I was thinking. Man, so you can tell me if I brought a dead stock, let's say Ford in right now, and I a lot of these kids are kind of hip to what's going on, and I'm holding my phone and it's StockX and then your price. Are you going to kind of
like on the difference of it?
Yeah.
So basically, anytime someone brings us a brand new shoe, on store credit, we give them the full StockX value for trade-in. So we match it on StockX. Anytime we're selling a brand new shoe, we really try to never be over StockX price. It's tough because StockX really does control the market now, and it makes it hard for a lot of shops like this. But at the end of the day, StockX really nowadays does set the market price. So if you want your customers to see what you're doing and like what you're doing, you really have to match that StockX price.
So yeah, what you saying you relaunching your online store? Why would you go in and just build a store here, brick and mortar? Why not just stay on the internet and sell the shoes and do it that way? With so many businesses in the industry, so many businesses in the industry doing it that way.
Yeah. So really the reason we decided to go with the local storefront just because when I was selling shoes, like out of my basement, doing the online meetups, it was mainly through the Facebook groups. I'm sure you were in the Facebook groups. There's really just always a really big culture for buying, selling, trading sneakers in Cincinnati, and we always did most of our sales locally through meetups or whatever. And when we went to go do the storefront, it was really just to make it easier for our customers to have a spot to come view our selection, because it would get kind of to be a hassle. Sending 1,000 pictures to a customer, what do you have, size 12, and sending them 50 pictures and them trying to pick between it. So initially it was really just to, have like kind of a showroom for people to come view what we have, but now it's kind of progressing to, something more.
Right, I can tell with you having 2 stores. With your selection, I also heard you say one time I came in the store that you were able to sell shoes on Instagram. Tell me about that, because when I see your page, you posted pictures, price and everything. Tell me how that works.
Yeah, so basically every time we get a shoe in, we make sure that we post it on Instagram, mainly just to inform our following that we have that shoe in, just so they can see what size we have it, what condition it's in, and what price it's at. As soon as we post it on the Instagram page, that means we just got it in, it's available right now. We have a pretty wide following on our Instagram page. A lot of people locally in Cincinnati, and a lot of people from across the country too can do that. And they can see the different steals we get in, and they can give us a call and order it, and we'll ship it out to them.
Man, that's cool. That's cool. All right, let's give everybody out there a look at the selection that Brock has on the wall. Let's pick a couple shoes. Let's look at this one. This 9 here. This was a hot shoe last year. Sure. What was your thoughts on this one?
Dude, I think initially a lot of people kind of expected the brick a little bit, but I don't know if people realize on release day it was actually pretty hard to get. They sold out a lot.
There was that tax. They called it the tax season shoe.
Yeah, for sure. And they were reselling for about $300 out of the gate too. They ended up coming down a little bit, but I'm a fan. I like it because it's kind of, it's got the color scheme of an original colorway, but it's on a new colorway. So it's got that classic look, but it's something new you haven't seen before.
I think the 9 always looks slick with patent leather on it.
For sure. Yeah.
What about this shoe here with the red on this one? I know I still have this shoe dead stock. What do you think about this one? Some people like it, some people hate it.
Yeah, I think it did pretty well. We definitely have a lot of requests for that shoe in the store.
Yeah.
I'm personally not a huge fan of it. Just because I always gravitate towards OG colorways myself.
Right.
There's a few OG colorways I'd personally grab for.
Well, us talking about that red 9, I wanted to get into this.
Yeah.
Because me being the sneakerhead, an OG sneakerhead, I wanted to, I had a complaint with this shoe. With them selling us a Jordan with, what would this be, nylon they called it? Yeah. I'm old school, and I'm from the school of Jordans being leather and suede. That was the reason it was that $100 price point. But for them to give us a Jordan with nylon on it, still at that, what was it, 190?
It was, yeah.
What was your thoughts on that?
I'm in the same spot you are on it. I always prefer, the OG organic type materials that we're used to. I do think this shoe is a pretty cool concept just because of how durable it is. Because I will say this is a shoe that people bring in pairs in that they'll tell us they've worn, 20, 30 times, but they still look brand new. Because it is a pretty durable shoe. Because that leather and suede, it looks real nice, but it's pretty hard to take care of. And this is a solution to that if you're rough on your shoes.
You're right about that. Yeah. I can remember an older shoe like this 4 here. Mm-hmm. This was a duck when it came out.
It was.
They was dropping so many 4s. I think it was the same year as these military 4s that they came with this, what they call the forest green.
What was it? I want to say.
I forget. It was some kind of green that they called it. I wasn't a big fan of it.
I just called it. I think it was a teal.
Was it a teal?
Might have been a teal.
Okay. Yeah. This was a hot shoe. You ever seen one with the
band insole?
The insole, the band insole.
I have. We've had a few pairs come in, but you definitely see the white insole a little bit more often than the band insole. Yeah, I got the white insole in mine. Somebody out there has the band insole. You know who you are. I'm gonna give you a call. I think you got more than one. I need to get that from you. Man, I see the phone ringing off the hook, man. Business is booming over here at your store. Tell me about how long you been here and different things with the store. Yeah, so we're closing out on our first year right here next week. Yeah, man, and it has been going real well for real. I mean, out the beginning, we didn't have as many people coming in throughout the day, but every day we saw the business gradually picking up, and it's been a dream come true ever since for sure.
Yeah, man, that's good, man. I wanted to also get into some of the female, the younger, the smaller size, and I shouldn't say female, kid sizes, because I'm seeing some pretty hot shoes up here. This one was a hot seller at one time. So go ahead and talk about a couple of these and how the business is with the smaller feet people.
Yeah, so we get a ton of youth shoes in, man. We honestly almost see just as many youth shoes come in for people to sell us throughout the day as men's shoes. But it seems like people tend to sleep on the youth sizes a little bit more. Like there's a lot of crazy good deals out here, in my opinion. That we'll sit around for a little bit, but then every once in a while, that true collector that wears a size 7 will come in, and they'll pick up on it, they'll have a field day, and they'll come grab 4 or 5 pairs. Right?
And there's a lot of males out there, grown men, still wearing size 7s. I know y'all look, I picked this one up. A lot of y'all, summertime. All right, but tell me a little bit more about the Kentucky store. What you got going on there? Is it the exact same setup and everything works the same?
Yeah, so we have basically the exact same setup down at the Kentucky store. We've always had a real massive following down in northern Kentucky ever since before we had the shop, and we've always had a real heavy following down there. And a lot of our customers in Kentucky, it's a haul to get all the way up here to Springdale.
Right.
And there's such a community down there. We just wanted to go ahead and give it to them down there too.
Yeah. So what's the guy's name that's running that store down there?
My friend Justin Wade. He's my partner down at that store. Me and Justin have been selling shoes together for years, for sure. I'm sure a lot of you guys know Justin as well.
And he's just as good at authenticating everything, just like you are. It's good to go in business with somebody you trust.
Exactly.
A good friend, he's going to handle it and hold it down. Exactly. So the social media for that store and this store is the same. You can find both of them.
They're actually 2 separate Instagrams. So it's Store Rival Cincy for the Cincinnati store, and Store Rival NKY for the Kentucky store. They're both going to be set up the exact same way. And just each page will have its respective inventory on the page. So you can check and go see what we have in Kentucky this week and what we have in Cincinnati this week.
Yeah, me and Brock sitting here going over some shoes, different things. We had to come over to this section. This is my size. I hope don't none of y'all mind. Let me look at some of the heat in my size. I might want to trade something in, get something new to put in my collection. So Brock, I'm looking over here and I see, I was holding this one earlier. And I really like that price that you got on now.
Yeah.
This shoe right here, I missed out on. I kind of need it in my collection, man. Holes ain't punched in it. Let me know what you think about this, man. They did that for the fresh
man. So I'm such a fan of this shoe because I really think they put good materials on it. I think they did the colors exactly true to the OG form, and the Nike Air on the back is the biggest thing I like right here. I will say though, I'm a huge fan of the concept behind the no laces, but I feel like if they would have just went ahead and put the lace holes in it, we would have had a perfect Retro 5 compared to the OG. Because I'm a real passionate OG collector, and if they would have just, done it true to the OG, they would have done a perfect job on it.
Right. I totally agree with that, man. With them doing a salute to Fresh Prince, they could have just gave them the West Philly here and the insole, and just still put the laces in.
They could have at least put the lace holes in.
Put
and
the holes in. Right.
I
and that would have worked. They're trying to fly off and jump off with that picture of Fresh Prince. But if you see my episode last week, Fresh Prince wasn't the first. Karim Hardison, Nike need to take care of that boy. He needs a shoe. Really, he needs a shoe. I had to save this shoe for last. Made sure I sat right behind it. This is one that eluded me for years. The price went skyrocket, and my wife would kill me. I would be bad at myself if I came in the house with something like this. But this right here, this Band 9, this is almost dead stock.
Yep.
This is a perfect shoe. For the ones that don't know about that, this is a Jordan that they put the real shoe trees in there. If my man could get a shot of real shoe tree, the cedar wood shoe tree on the inside, to let you know this shoe is official. This is high quality stuff right here. How long have you had this in there? I don't know if you want to say the price tag. I'm gonna let him handle that. Tell me about that, man. How long you had that in here?
Yeah, so this shoe's actually been in the shop for about 2 weeks, and believe it or not, this was actually a shoe out of my personal collection.
Really?
Yeah, it was in there. I wanted to free some space up, to put something new personal in my collection, and it was just a shoe that was in such good condition. I knew if I kept wearing it, I was gonna beat it up, man.
Right.
I didn't want to do it to it,
Eventually
considering that. There's 1,800 pairs in the world. It would have broken my heart to see him get any more beats.
Right,
so
right.
I just decided I'd rather put them on the shelf and get them to, a true collector that'll take care of them. For sure.
So I think I'm going to start a GoFundMe, so I can put this shoe in my collection. If you watching my videos, we appreciate any donations. Just DM me and let me know. So tell me, man, with this culture here in Southwest Ohio, all of us really know each other, but we kind of don't know each other because you know somebody I know somebody you know. I let somebody know I'm interviewing my man over there in Tri-County at the store, such and such. Oh, Brock, I know Brock. We all know each other. Just speak on the different locations and other, just spots in the city that go crazy for these shoes like we do.
Yeah, so there's always been like a real tight-knit community of sneaker collectors in Cincinnati, and I've always thought it was especially cool in Cincinnati because it seems to be more of a personal connection. Everyone seems to know everybody, like you mentioned.
Right.
And it's a real cool thing because we got multiple shops in the city, and all the shop owners tend to know each other too. We can all recommend to do business with each other.
Right. We all stick together and everybody's happy.
Right.
Like the shoe you want, somebody can help you hunting for a shoe that you want. Anything that you might need, man. We all stick together.
Exactly.
We can all just be happy at the end of the day with our collections and shoes that we are passionate about. All right, bro. For this question, man, we do this every show. Every sneakerhead, passionate sneakerhead that's really about this stuff, got a top 5 shoe. If you going here, or there, you got top 5 shoes that you gotta wear. Maybe you're not gonna wear them. You'll think about it. I might not. Tell me what it is.
Yeah. So I've always been a really true Jordan collector. I feel like Jordan back in the 80s and 90s really kind of set the pavement for all these this shoe craze going on now.
Right.
So my top 5 probably just want to be like what is in my opinion the most classic Jordan. So definitely got to put a red one in there. That's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, gotta be that.
Black Cement 3, that's also always been one of my favorites. That one's kind of hard for me to pick between the Black Cement and the White Cement, but that's definitely got to be in there. Obviously, Bread 4, of course, got to be in there. It gets a little tougher for me after that, though, I will say. I think I've always been a huge fan of the Retro 14, so I think you definitely got to put a Last Shot 14 in there for sure.
That's a different one.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think about that 5 spot, though. That's tough. I don't want to say this because it makes it sound like
I'm waiting on you to say it, but I want to see if you're going to go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, growing up, as a kid, the one shoe I always wanted was always the Air Mags from Back to the Future. So I feel like I definitely got to put that in there. I always wanted a pair of Air Mags.
And it's funny that you didn't say Retro 11s in there. Everybody will put at least one of the 11s in there, but not my man. He said 14. We want to thank everybody for tuning in our 3rd episode of Everyday Sneakerheadz. I'm Johnny J's. You can always find me at Everyday Sneakerheadz on Instagram, Johnny J's on YouTube. Also on Facebook, Everyday Sneakerheadz. Brock, let them know where they can find you one more time.
Yeah, so you guys can follow and get all the information for the store on Instagram. You can check the Cincinnati store at Soul Revival Cincy on Instagram. You can check the Kentucky store at Soul Revival NKY.
And you can find him all those places, get the addresses to where we at. We're going to get out of here with this one. Thank you all for tuning in this week. We're going to wheel and deal on this one, see if I can get this up out of them, see what I might need to trade, wheel and deal, see what we could do. Come on, man.
Sure.